Okay, so Jason Inman, you're the man to ask this to.
Sure.
It's very important.
Okay.
Favorite comic book character all time?
Dick Grayson.
Holy shit! I thought I could. Again, second week in a row that I thought I could stump, and then you just stumped me with Dick Grayson.
Yeah, Nightwing / Robin.
Nightwing,
Yep.
Robin.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. Why is that?
Because he's the only comic book character we've ever watched grow up. Now, a lot of people are screaming out there that they're like, we've seen Peter Parker grow up, but Dick Grayson was the first one. We met him as an 8-year-old little boy in 1940. And in 1983, he finally put on his big boy pants and became Nightwing. And he has now spent almost as much time as Nightwing as he has as Robin. We've watched this character grow up because they introduced Robin because they wanted young boys to start reading Batman. They didn't feel enough younger children reading Batman. So to me, Dick Grayson is us in comic book form.
This is my favorite answer I've ever heard
Cool.
for comic books.
It's the answer that won me the job at DC.
Is that what
Yeah.
Because they're like, that's a deep cut.
Yeah.
That's like, that's something everybody's going to walk in like me. This asshole would stand up there and go, well, of course, Superman, check out my tattoo. And they'd go, you're one of those guys. Next.
Yeah.
I love that. I didn't even think about that. And
also, here's the other thing that I love about Dick Grayson.
I could just listen to you talk about comics always.
I can talk about comics forever, but I can especially talk about Dick Grayson forever. Dick Grayson is Batman's only success. No matter what Batman does, he's never going to stop crime in Gotham. But he once took a scared and frightened little boy and taught him and loved him and made him grow up to lead the Justice League. And Dick Grayson has led the Justice League in the comic books.
That's so cool. Yeah, because I'm thinking now, he loses Jason Todd.
Mm-hmm.
And in some of the incarnations, right, of Jason Todd, he comes back.
Yeah. He's Red Hood in some.
He's Red Hood, and I believe I was playing Arkham Knight in the video game.
And it's Tim Drake is the Robin in that one.
Is it Tim Drake?
It's
yes,
Tim Drake.
It's Tim Drake.
Yeah.
Yes, Tim Drake is Tim Drake is the third Robin?
He's the third Robin, yes. He came around in like 1989.
Okay, so he's not a success, though?
He is. He's the first Robin to have the first Robin solo title. He's the first one. Dick didn't even get that honor.
Okay.
Dick didn't get his first solo title until Nightwing, which only was published because of Tim Drake's success with his solo title.
There you go.
So Tim is just... Tim got the circumstance of a Robin that they didn't know what to do with.
Yeah.
Like, Dick Grayson grew up, and he became Nightwing, and he sort of became estranged from Batman. So
Sure.
the DC editors were like, oh, we have a purpose for him. He's sort of the estranged son of Batman.
Yeah.
Jason Todd is like, oh, he's the Robin that died. Tim Drake grew up, and they were like, we don't know, because he's not going to be Batman, and he can't stay Robin forever. So what do we do with this guy? And they turned him into Red Robin, which doesn't really work.
Good mozzarella sticks, though.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and great hamburgers. And then now the newest Robin is Damian Wayne,
Damian, I know, is his son.
Is his blood son, yeah.
With
Talia al Ghul.
Yeah. Oh, see, I can hang. I can hang with a little bit of DC.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about you, my friend. Having you on, you know your
too
comics.
long of an intro? I don't know.
No. We'll get into it because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to talk comics with you. I wanted to talk about your life. I wanted to talk it all because, as you know, Superman's my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Superman's my second favorite.
There you go. So, well, then let's talk about that. Hello and welcome. It's the Reilly Roundtable. It's episode 16. I can't believe it, episode 16. And you are finding us here on Collider Podcasts, which is on YouTube. And you are also finding us on One-on-One with Christian Harloff on the Podcast One podcast feed. And that's where we are here. And I'm going to welcome in my guest. You just heard him in that cold opening. His favorite character, Robin, a.k.a. Nightwing, a.k.a. Dick Grayson, which I love. What a great answer. Jason Inman, my friend, how are you today?
I'm great. And you're welcome for the longest intro you've ever had.
I think I've had longer, but
really?
I can't remember.
Okay.
But maybe not.
I have failed the city.
I will. You have not failed the city yet. You're fine. You are a fellow horseman, a fellow friend,
yes,
a fellow
we should
writer.
Go saddle shopping sometime. Is that what you do as horseman?
I believe so.
Okay.
I think we have to go buy cowboy hats first. I don't know, though.
But John can help with us.
John can help. I do have cowboy boots.
You do?
I do. I
All
don't
right,
really want to wear them.
No, they're not comfortable.
They're not comfortable, yeah. But that's beside the point.
Right.
For the Reilly Roundtable here, I wanted Jason on. I saw that you were promoting something. We're going to talk about that because it is so exciting. Because what you are doing with your lovely wife is phenomenal stuff I love. I was on your Patreon podcast, if I remember correctly, talking writing.
Yes, you were. Mythmakers, yes.
Yeah, Mythmakers.
Which I've had to put on pause because I'm doing so much writing.
That's good. Hell yes.
I feel good and bad about that.
No.
I created this Patreon podcast about writing, and I had to tell all my patrons to be like, I'm just too busy writing stuff, guys. I'm sorry.
You know what? For a writing podcast, that's a good excuse.
All right.
And it really made me I got to say, that podcast actually really got me focused again.
Oh, I'm glad.
Because I had to walk the walk. And then I hit some speed bumps. But then the other day I hit it, and I'm 60 pages in, and I know where I'm going with my latest script, and I'm going to be done soon. So I'm
nice.
very
That's great,
excited.
Man. That's so cool.
I can't wait for you to read it. I'll give it to you.
I would love to read it. I'll have to give you my new pilot.
I would love that. Absolutely. Do you like horror movies?
I don't. Okay. So, but I might be an interesting pair of eyes because good horror movies convince me. My favorite horror movie, The Exorcist.
Okay, good. We just watched The Exorcist the other night.
Oh, it holds up, man.
It holds up.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to say it's not Exorcist, but it definitely has family dynamic where you're going to care about the characters, and then because Exorcist deals with, demon possession, which is a kind of a trope in horror. I'm playing with another trope, which is vampires.
Oh, nice.
But family, and you'll see.
Okay.
I'm just going to tease it there.
Don't tell them anymore.
I'm not going to tell anymore.
Don't give it away.
But I was
Make them pay for it.
Yes, make them pay for it. I was very excited to have you on because
I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming.
I always love talking with you, man.
Yeah.
The fact that microphones are in front of us, I don't care.
It doesn't matter. I mean, they might as well be turned off. Wait, am I recording? No, here we are. Yeah, it's because we have a great conversation. We like a lot of the same things. We're in this industry together. And yeah, let's have you on and talk because there's a topic that's out there that I specifically thought about you for this.
Okay.
Because I talked about it a little bit on my own Patreon page. I believe it did a little bit of Sundays with Reilly kind of thing, which is a Patreon show. Every Sunday I do something. I just wax poetic.
Yeah.
And but
I know I'm one of your patrons.
You are,
yeah.
And I am one of your patrons.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Oh, by the way, we are doing this away from the Collider Studios to accommodate schedule, so we're doing it at my place. I got Cal, the schmo dog, over here on the couch, and wine was poured.
Wine is poured, yes.
And as it pops, and we are drinking some wine and going to have a conversation. And it's perfect to do on air because I haven't really gotten your take on this because it has to do with DC.
Yeah.
And you were DC All Access for
many
years.
I was with DC All Access.
You were, I know.
3.5 years.
3.5 years.
Yep, so the lids are off, man. I can say anything.
Now you can say anything.
I can say anything.
Tell me, what the fuck is going on with Man of Steel 2 and Henry Cavill?
I don't know.
Because that's what's pissing me off. I needed a Superman guy here. I needed a DC guy here. Yep. And I am a huge fan of Superman, as you know.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Man of Steel.
Me too.
I love Man of Steel.
Me too.
Thank God.
I've said this several times. To me, there are two problems with Man of Steel.
Okay.
The two problems are the end fight goes on way too long.
Way too long. Totally agree.
Way too long. And also, Pa Kent's death doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Now, a lot of people are screaming out on their phones and their podcast devices and whatever they're listening to, because I hear this all the time, and people are like, well, but Kevin Costner's Pa Kent, he advocated that Superman let people die. No, if that's what you think, you didn't understand what he was saying.
No.
He
didn't want him to show himself.
Exactly, and you want to know why?
Yeah.
Because he's a small-town, conservative Kansas farmer. As a Kansas farm boy myself, Kevin Costner...
This is why I'm talking to you.
Kevin Costner is my dad in that movie.
Okay.
He is scarily accurate as my dad in that movie.
I happen to love Pa Kent. Kevin Costner's Pa,
I do too.
Pa Kent.
I do too.
And John Glenn's.
Yeah, and I think to me, if anybody, every time I hear that, I'm like, oh, you've never been around, and I'm going to say this insult to the states that I'm from. I'm from the Midwest. I'm from Kansas. You've never interacted with the flyover states that much, if you believe that. If you don't understand what he's saying there, because you are taught in the Midwest to be quiet, don't create a ruckus, be polite. And of course, a Kansas farmer would teach that to a super strong alien who could burn the entire atmosphere off within seconds.
Yes. And I mean, that was one of my favorite. I mean, I cry every time when he says, "You're the answer to if there's life out there, or if we're alone in the universe." And he goes, "Can I just be your son again?" And he's like, "You are my son." And I it's like Field of Dreams right there for me.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh.
Yeah, Man of Steel, I love it. I love that when Lois says "Welcome to the planet" and hits that music, every time chills. Every time.
"Welcome to the planet" is such a great double meaning. It's so
such a
great.
brilliant last line.
It's a great, brilliant last line. You know what? That the Pa Kent, him dying, that didn't affect me that much because of
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because I bought into that storyline.
Oh, I could see that.
I really bought into don't show yourself. Do you know what the world would do if you appeared? Which is mirrored with like Perry later, who's like, do you know, like you're sitting here talking about aliens and whatnot, Lois. Can you imagine if somebody was really out there like that?
Sure.
You know, he's not buying into it. I like that theme. That's what hooked me.
I guess for me, and this is just a difference, and it's one of those things that you have to do when you watch media like we do.
Yeah.
And it's the one problem I see on the internet a lot is that people have problems with movies and television shows because they're angry at, oh, that's not the way that I would have wrote it. And and you have to judge it off of, no, you can't judge it off of how I would have wrote it or you would have wrote it. You have to judge it off of what was given to you. And for me,
it's so. Thank you. Can some Star Wars fans get in on this?
I know,
please?
right? For me, a little bit. That moment, Pa Kent moment, is a little bit. I'm diving into. That's not the way I would have wrote it.
Yes.
And I guess to me, for me, I guess I would say it's so hard to beat Glenn Ford's death in '79, and that death has been copied in so many Superman comic books as well.
Oh, yeah.
I just love the idea that Superman can't save Pa Kent because it's something that his strength, his speed can't solve.
Right.
And that's my only problem with Man of Steel is that, besides the long fight, is that he could have easily saved Pa Kent.
He could have.
Easily. And I don't know. Maybe a couple drafts down the road, they would have found something different. It's fine.
I wonder because it would really have, as two writers here, let me throw this out at you. We'll have a little writing exercise.
Sure.
Why not make that Superman's coming out party? That would change everything, though. I mean, we're playing with house money right now. If he were to, at that moment, shown himself, I realize you can't do that, though, because then Superman's secret identity would be known because he just saved Pa Kent, and they know him, right? At least that's what I'm getting. But they were in traffic jam, so maybe they wouldn't know him.
Let's fly with it. Okay,
the
most people that are underneath that overpass are 15 people.
About
15
that, sure.
people, right?
Let's say, give or take.
15 people can keep a secret.
They could.
I think they do. And just because those 15 people who were people in other cars doesn't mean they know that they're the Kents.
Right.
They just know that they're farmer people. So they see this guy's face. Maybe they see him 5 years down the road as Superman. They're just like, oh, I saw him. Da-da-da.
He saved somebody here.
But I'll give you... Let's combine a little bit of Smallville, the TV series, into this thing.
Ooh, okay.
So this starts his career as the Blur, just randomly saving people.
Is that... Didn't get into Smallville.
It's great.
I know. I watched a few episodes.
Yeah.
I watched the season finale because I was series finale.
It's so good.
I wanted that. I wanted to see the S. I wanted to hear the Williams music because they did revisit with Williams music. The Blur. That's interesting.
Yeah. Make him the Blur. Make him this, and then that way you can lead into that storyline that Lois has in that movie where she's searching him down, and then boom, you're right there in those same scenes. But you add a little bit of flavor to it.
So it could have worked.
Yeah.
We could have done it.
Yeah.
We could have made that movie better. No, I'm kidding. I did because
you can always make every movie better in hindsight.
Yeah. And it's like, who am I? I mean, you bring up a really great point, which is what you want to see versus what you see and judge it by that.
Yeah.
Because look, I believe we talked about it a little bit on your podcast, the Last Jedi and the divisiveness of it. And
because I'm not a fan of The Last Jedi, and you are.
You're right, and I am. And my gut reaction walking out of that, I'll tell you right now, you just knocked something loose in me. That's not how I was picturing it in my mind.
I don't think anybody was.
Yeah. And so I had to really think about it because I was I was tortured. I went to bed that night and I was like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Same point. There was something in me that went, that was fucking beautiful. I'm like, there's something in me that I'm liking it. I've come around on it. We've talked about it on another podcast, but yeah, because
you can find that on my Patreon. There you
go find it on yes, there it is.
Patreon.com/Java.
There it is. Nice plug, nice synergy. So when you have the fans of Not My Luke, the hashtag Not My Luke, it's like because I think they had in their mind. I saw this. Excuse me. I saw this online when Sam Witwer Another Star Wars guy. Another, he was
Schmodown fellow.
Schmodown
Lovely.
fella.
So cool.
Voice of such a great guy. Darth Maul. All that.
By the way, in Solo, spoilers for Solo. If you haven't seen, why are you listening to this podcast if you haven't seen Solo?
I don't know. You know what's sad though? Not a lot of people saw Solo.
I know. The second I heard that voice with one word, I knew it was Sam.
I did too.
And I literally, I watched it with Ashley, and I leaned over to Ashley. I was like, "That's Sam."
Yep. Maybe we won't spoil that. Yeah.
I was like, "It's Darth Maul."
He goes, "Yes," and I'm like, "Oh, that's Sam."
Yep. I knew immediately.
I was sitting next to Christian. He looked at me and went, "Yeah."
Yep.
And but so he shared the other day a 10-year anniversary, 20-year. I don't know the dates. Probably 10. And it was
Star Wars. Was the video game he
Force
was in?
Unleashed.
Yeah, that's a great video game.
And I click on his feed. I love that video
Yeah.
game. And I click on that feed, and one guy responds and goes, "Yes, the video game that gave false hope to all those Luke Skywalker fans who wanted him to pull down a Star Destroyer using the Force." And it was something like that, like Star Killer in the video game becomes so powerful, he's able to pull down Star Destroyers using
and Ryan
the Force.
Johnson talked about that he considered doing that.
He did.
in the movie. There's storyboards for it.
Of Luke doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
See, Ryan Johnson... Is that real?
Look,
now
that's
my
serious.
heart. My heart hurts.
He considered doing that, and then he thought against it and did the ending that we saw.
Pissing off many fans.
Yeah.
But I got very angry on my other Star Wars podcast, Rule of Two, where people are giving shit on Luke or something like that, and I was like, he beamed himself of the entire galaxy, the most powerful Jedi ever. I mean, it's like the greatest show of Jedi powers ever.
Yeah.
I knew people are like, nope, my Luke.
Oh, I know this is like we're going to talk about Man of Steel too.
Yeah,
we'll circle back around to it.
We deviated.
I will
a bit.
say I have, since we've talked on that podcast, I have turned around a little bit on The Last Jedi. I do think it's problematic.
Great.
I think all the problems are in the beginning of the movie. I think the last act is where the problems of those movies exist. But I saw somebody on Twitter share the idea of talking about they shared this dialogue of Yoda and talking about how you fight as a Jedi, and then showing Luke's battle as an example of that. The idea that he doesn't throw a single punch, he doesn't swing a lightsaber at all. There's no fighting in that battle, and he basically wins that battle by being passive, and being peaceful. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, Ryan Johnson, I'll give you a mark in the plus column. That's a smart idea.
That's exactly what I came to when it all finally settled. I went to Empire Strikes Back. Luke is walking in. What does Yoda say? Your weapons, you
will not need them.
You will not need them. And he goes, Yoda. And he puts him, and he ignites his lightsaber against the vision of Darth Vader. He cuts off the head. He sees, if I use these weapons, I can fall to the dark side. That's the mirror image, right? He's looking at his own face. Then, to defeat Darth Vader, he uses the dark side, horribly cuts off his arm. This is Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
He does dabble in the dark side right there to best Vader. And then what does he do? He turns, he realizes it. He looks at his hand, and he goes, and he throws down
Passive
his lightsaber.
resistance, yeah. He wins by passive resistance, yeah.
He throws down his lightsaber. That's why he tosses it over his shoulder in Last Jedi, because your weapons, you will not need them. This is bullshit. I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah.
And then the reason why he's there is because he failed yet again and almost brought his lightsaber up and killed his nephew because he didn't want to see it happen again.
And that's where I have the problem with Last Jedi.
Yes,
but yeah.
I know. It's debatable. We could talk about it, but it was always
But this
just
is how
did
you're
the
supposed to talk about it, just like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, anyways, let's get The Last
Man
Jedi
of Steel
out of
2.
here. Let's get Superman back in because as a fan,
Do you agree with me that... Sorry to interrupt you.
No, please go.
Do you agree with me that it would be a tragedy if we don't have one more Superman movie with Henry Cavill? We need at least one more.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
We need at least one more. Because the positive thing of Justice League is that he was so good as Superman.
Yes.
That's like the best thing about Justice League.
he was like, so let me ask you as a fan,
Sure.
what did you think of Justice League?
Look, I will admit some bias here. I got to go to the world premiere of Justice League.
Hey, I went to The Last Jedi. No, I went
Sure.
to Solo.
Yeah, that's right.
Premiere.
I went to the world premiere of Justice League. I got to meet Joe Manganiello. I can't say his last name.
Manganiello,
Deathstroke.
Yep.
Yeah. I met him at the concession stand. He was lovely.
Yep.
So I was quite jazzed the first time I saw Justice League. So when it ended, I think all I was looking for was it a train wreck? And when it wasn't a train wreck, I was like, oh, thank God it wasn't a train wreck. Now, on subsequent viewings, I have found myself fast-forwarding and skipping scenes left and right just to get to when Superman returns.
Right.
Because as soon as he returns, I can kind of watch the rest of the movie. But like everything before that, I'm just like, I can't do this. It's very problematic. It is a mess of a movie.
Yeah.
The only thing I can say about Justice League is the same thing. I don't know. I mostly end up with, man, it could have been way worse, but it's still pretty bad.
Yeah, like I'm on record. Yeah. I did not like it.
Yeah, because you like Batman v Superman more, right?
I like Batman v Superman more. I really have learned to appreciate Batman v Superman.
I rewatched that recently for the Schmodown.
Yeah,
and previous watchings, I hated it. I was like, this is terrible.
See, and I never hated it. I walked out going, yeah, I had fun.
But the most recent rewatch, I found myself kind of appreciating it more. I was like, okay, I kind of see maybe what you're trying to do here.
Watch it again. I've seen it a number of times now.
Yeah.
I like to put. I actually, you can call it if the dialogue is that's a shitty movie critically and whatnot. Then I can call it a guilty movie pleasure.
Sure.
I put it on the background. I enjoy it. The ultimate cut, the longer cut
is much better.
Much better.
Much better. I will say, I do think, though, as a person who was a video editor out here in L.A. for about 4 to 5 years, it is a terribly and atrociously edited movie.
I can buy
that.
The
editing is so bad, but it's beautifully shot, and I think it's well acted.
The problem I had with Justice League then is that we go from Man of Steel to Batman v Superman a lot darker. I mean...
Oh, 100%. He doesn't even act like himself in that movie.
Who? Batman or
No, Superman.
I know.
Superman doesn't act like the Clark Kent from Man of Steel in Batman v Superman. At all.
Because I felt the biggest problem I have with Batman v Superman is that there's more to do with Batman. There's more... It was like Zack Snyder kind of went...
Yeah, it was Batman's movie.
I want Batman in there. And maybe it's Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder. I'm like, give us Man of Steel 2, and they go... How about Batman?
And we should have got Man of Steel 2 before that movie. Yes.
Then introduce Batman at the end.
I think we should have got... I think we might have talked about this before.
Yeah.
We should have gotten the Batman and Man of Steel 2 before we got Batman v Superman.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we should have gotten Wonder Woman, which we did, and then Justice League.
Yes.
Batman v Superman. I think the Batman, Man of Steel 2... maybe Batman v Superman because I liked the introduction of Wonder Woman.
Sure.
Then Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
then
Wonder
Justice
Woman could have
League.
been introduced in Batman v Superman. I think the biggest mistake is they shouldn't have killed Superman in Batman v Superman.
No, because here's my big part of that. This is why I borderline just... hate's a strong word. I'm not going to go there.
All right.
What the fuck are you doing with the Death of Superman Returns stuff? Like... Yeah. There was so much I was looking forward to.
Did you ever think we would see a movie in our lifetimes? Because when this scene happened in the world premiere, when I was at the world premiere, and I even thought this in the world premiere, did you ever think, that we would ever see a scene in a movie where the Flash and Cyborg are digging up a grave?
No.
What the hell? Who would pitch that scene?
Who are the ad wizards that came up with this?
I mean, who?
SNL reference, everyone. I know. I'm watching it, and I'm like...
Look, you know this because you've been in the business as well, and in my new job, I'm working on this CBS drama called The Code, and so I get to be on a lot of calls. Nice. It's awesome. It's a dream job, my friend.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Now I'm not one of the writers on it, but I'm the showrunner's assistant, which basically means I get to be showrunner junior.
Yeah,
I get to learn how to be a showrunner.
You have an insight. It's one of the gigs that I would want.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And
you're on that track.
My current showrunner is a genius writer. He's so smart. He's so sharp. So in the show, for every episode, there is a story doc, an outline, a script, maybe a couple of drafts of script before you turn in the network, and then there is the network notes call. Before you go through probably a couple more drafts before it ever gets to an actor's hand.
Yeah, lots of process there.
Exactly.
And this sounds about right as a writer.
Exactly.
This is exactly what you need to do.
Mm-hmm. And I cannot believe, because there are network calls or studio calls on movie scripts as well.
Oh, yes.
I cannot believe that not in one single one of those meetings that nobody on the phone, because on these calls there's about 10 people.
Yes.
Nobody ever said, hey, maybe we shouldn't have a grave robbing scene in a Justice League movie.
Yeah. What the hell is this? Especially when you're giving the fastest man alive the grave rob. And I know he says it. I know he says, I could really do this fast, or whatever it may be. But it's like, I I would have been okay with it if they get down there and they open the coffin, no Clark Kent.
Yes, you would have accepted it because you would have built to that moment.
Built to that moment, but
and
it's
you
also,
learned that like Darkseid stole him or something like that.
Mirroring the comics.
Yeah.
Where his body's gone.
Yeah.
And that's what I was wanting because I love. I mean, I was
calling for a long time that Steppenwolf was going to resurrect him with a mother box,
Yeah.
and he was going to be evil because evil Superman is also from the comic books.
Yes, that's what I was. I mean, there were so many things you could have done, and I know it's a lot to put in Justice League. This is why we needed a fucking Man of Steel 2, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. Okay, so we get Doomsday and BVS. And then I'm like,
this is fine. That's okay. I'm okay with Doomsday. I
was actually okay with it.
I was okay with Doomsday. Doomsday is one of Superman's more well-known villains, so I'm fine with it.
I was too. I kind of
wish he
out.
looked like the comic books, but that's fine.
He started to at the end there. He kept punching, and then the scales started coming.
The Dan Jurgens Doomsday look is amazing.
It's iconic for me.
So you got to use it.
I mean, because when I remember driving with my family and my family neighbors to Mammoth for a weekend or for a week, and I had all the Death of Superman stuff.
Comics.
Oh, I was just going nuts. And I was waiting for that because I was waiting for the death. Okay, so we get the death. Then I'm like, can we get maybe a cyborg Superman? Can we get an Eradicator? Can we get a Steel? Can we get a Superboy cloned by Lex Luthor?
Speaking of this, I don't know if you've seen it. The Death of Superman animated movie that's out right now.
I need to see it. Is it good?
It is great. It's an hour and a half, so they made it a little bit longer.
Yeah.
It's a two-parter.
Ooh.
Part 2 is Reign of the Supermen.
That's my favorite.
And
Reign of the Superman is my favorite.
Yep. Death of Superman, the animated movie. Now, they did one way back in the day called Superman Doomsday. Don't watch that one.
So
I'm talking about Death
I
of
watched
Superman.
that one. It's not good.
It's not good.
No.
Death of Superman is written by Peter J. Tomasi, who just did the most recent Superman Rebirth run.
Ooh.
It's great. And they changed some stuff from the comic books.
Okay.
They changed Doomsday's look as well. But
they did. I noticed that in some of the material.
When he dies in that movie, dude, it really it gets you way more than Batman v Superman did. Like that's the other problem with Batman v Superman. When Superman dies, you don't really feel anything. You're just like, oh, that sucks. But in Death of Superman, for an animated movie, I felt it. Like I was like, oh wow. And it's because they spent the whole movie building up. I'm going to give you a little tinge of a spoiler just because it'll sell the movie a little bit.
Yeah.
In that movie, they portray the thing that Lois doesn't know that Clark and Superman are the same guy.
Oh.
But Clark and Lois have been dating for a long time.
Okay.
And they talk about marriage, like they maybe want to get married, and Lois is like, you're holding something back, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't get married.
Ooh.
And then Clark takes her to a place, and he goes, I'm Superman. And he tells her Doomsday shows up. So she finds out that he's Superman right before he dies, so that when she sees him die, it breaks you in half.
I was going to say, that is for dramatic purposes, for a movie. It is the correct change, at least for this writer here. I think that's
I'll
brilliant.
give you the Blu-ray. I would love it. It's so good.
I want to see it. I can't wait because that was my favorite. Yeah. So that the Reign of Superman is one of my favorite runs in comic, probably my favorite because of,
Who's your favorite one?
Of the Superman that come back
of the
four. Ooh, good question. I love. What's so funny? I love the Eradicator.
He's a good character. He's such a good design.
He's a great design.
Yeah.
He had the visor. He had the cape that was built into the S.
I have that action figure.
Big asshole. Like kills people.
I think mine is Steel.
Steel
John
is?
Henry Irons.
John Henry Irons. Yeah.
I love the design of Steel.
Yeah, he's great. I'm trying to remember though. The Eradicator. You can help me with this.
Sure.
He's somebody. He's in cahoots with somebody. I'm trying to remember.
Well, he was introduced in an earlier storyline by John Byrne.
Okay.
Because he is a Kryptonian computer system.
Yes, that was it.
So when he's first introduced, he tries to terraform the planet.
Yes.
Which is, you might see some allusions to Man of Steel.
There's Man of Steel.
And then I think Superman shuts him down and then puts him in the Fortress computer. So when the Fortress computer senses that Superman is dead, that's what activates the Eradicator.
Right, there it is. Yeah. And then
the Eradicator is actually the one who brings Superman back to life.
Exactly, because he then gets the body.
Yeah, he gets the body and he puts him in a solar chamber. And
solar chamber that starts to recharge
for 3 months.
Yeah, he's in there because then that's the big black suit, silver
the
shield,
Cyborg Superman
long
is
hair.
The one you find out is a villain.
The cyborg one.
Yeah, because he's the one that destroys Coast City that is tied to Hal Jordan and all that stuff. And
I love the interconnected of that because it was a great one. So we had Steel, and then Superboy was
the clone
of Superman.
Lex Luthor and Superman.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
I love his design too.
Oh, so great. So that was such a great run. So I know you can't do that in Justice League.
Sure.
But at least give me something rather than a mother box grave robbing bullshit scene. It just was like, okay.
I mean, the other thing about it too is that you can look at that movie and you can see that it was supposed to be part 1 of part 2.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing: if we'd gotten part 2, if we knew part 2, say, was going to happen this year, like it was going to happen where Aquaman's going to happen,
right?
And the ending, say, the last scene of Justice League is they don't kill Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf jumps into the boom tomb and leaves. It's the exact same movie, the exact same Justice League.
Yeah.
Steppenwolf leaves, and we have 2 scenes, and the 2 scenes are this. One of these are confirmed. This was in Zack Snyder's script. The other one I'm just making up because I think it's a cool scene.
Yeah.
Steppenwolf shows up on Apocalypse.
Doomsday.
Darkseid.
Or sorry, not Doomsday.
Darkseid kills him and
Yes.
says, "I will show Earth how to kneel." Now, that is in Zack Snyder's script. That is.
I remember the
Herbert's.
boom tube of some production art or some previs, and they're looking up and like Darkseid's looking down through the boom tube.
Yeah. So there was actually a scene on Apocalypse, like Darkseid apparently kills Steppenwolf and it says like, "I'm going to go to Earth." Now, for me, I would I would add an extra scene to that.
Okay.
And have a scene where the Justice League are gathering. Maybe they're in Wayne Manor or whatever, and then we see this green beam of light just go and crash into Wayne Manor. Sorry to hit the table.
Yeah, no, please do it.
And they're like, "Who?" And Bruce Wayne's like, "Who the hell are you?" And he's like, "I'm Hal Jordan. I'm of the Green Lantern Corps, and something's coming." Credits.
Perfect.
Yes. And like I said, everything else in that movie is exactly the same. I think with those 2 scenes, your attitude on that movie, since you know it's part 1, completely changes.
I think that would have also pleased a lot of the fans. I think it makes a lot of sense. And unfortunately,
we didn't have it.
We didn't get it, and now we're in this. Let's get into it because now we're in this weirdness with DCEU.
Oh man,
and or the worlds of DC. I don't know what they're calling anymore.
Oh, who knows?
Who knows? So we get Aquaman coming out later this year. We got him in December. Then we have Shazam.
Yep.
Then we have Wonder Woman 1984, which I'm.
Wonder Woman 1984 is going to be great. I'm actually looking forward to all 3 as well.
I'm looking forward to all 3 of them.
Yep.
I mean, like a lot of the narrative over at Collider is that we're all DC haters, and I'm just like, you know what, morons. Listen, I love my movies. I love DC.
Yeah.
I'm a Superman fan. I want more from them. That's all. Aquaman looks great. James Wan, I
hope it's
adore.
good. I hope
me
it's
too.
good.
It looks great.
I mean, the test screenings are positive.
Great.
I've heard some rumors that it's very similar to Black Panther. I hope that's not the case. I've heard plot-wise it's almost beat for beat Black Panther.
Okay.
Because think about it, Ocean Master is Killmonger and that type of stuff.
and then come back for the crown.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. All right. Well,
I've heard some rumors. We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
I like Jason Momoa as Aquaman. I think it looks great. Cool. James Wan's a good choice.
James Wan, great choice. Shazam looks fantastic. I love that. I love the trailer.
Yeah, I hope Shazam knocks us off. I think maybe going comedic is a good idea. Shazam's a perfect movie as well because it's different enough to give you enough interesting new flavor, but sort of be in that universe.
It's sort of in that universe because that trailer you see the Batman symbol, you see something paper with Superman.
Well, he
or
has
whatever.
a Time magazine that shows the Kryptonian invasion from Man of Steel.
That's right.
So it'll be interesting to see. I have a feeling those will be the only Easter eggs.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think they'll leave it in the background.
And then Wonder Woman 1984 we know, but let's go back. Let's go back to Shazam right now because that's kind of the impetus to this this chat here. Henry Cavill is allegedly, according to THR, walking away from negotiations.
Yeah,
because they were trying to get him in to cameo in Shazam, and he goes and he leaves
because the perfect cameo would be to reveal that scene in Justice League, one of those kids was Billy Batson.
There it is.
I mean, that's the perfect cameo.
That's the perfect cameo. And there is the rumor, and now I don't know if this is true or not. This is from one of our friends, Humberto Gonzalez from The Wrap, who said it was something along the lines of Clark Kent talking to Billy Batson, going, "Oh, I'm keeping an eye on you," referencing the Justice League.
I'm down for that.
I think that's great.
Sure.
I would have loved to have seen Superman instead of Clark Kent. But
I get they don't want to dip their toe too far in the water, and I kind of agree with them. You don't want to go too far in case the DCU doesn't go on further.
Yeah, because
It's
now
not.
there's talk,
Yeah.
reboot, what's going on. So, and that's the news. So Henry Cavill, they say negotiations didn't work. He walks. He's not gonna do it anymore. And then his agent or his manager comes out and says, "Nope, the cape's still hanging in the closet. We have a great relationship. No denials, though." It sounded negotiation.
Warner Brothers said he's done.
No, Warner Brothers comes out.
The
and said,
rumor came out. The rumor came out that he was done. Warner Brothers said no changes.
no
and then
changes. We still have a great relationship.
Henry
with
Cavill
him.
posted a weird video of him holding a Superman action figure.
Yes. So
that everybody was like, "What?"
So the internet lost their collective minds in
I
the morning
understand
off
why.
the THR because, and you know what's great is the love for Henry Cavill for Supes, because I love him too. I think he's a fantastic Superman.
Yeah.
I think he's a fantastic Clark Kent. So then we'll get to there, but the internet collectively loses their mind. Then we get the weird tweet from his manager. The cape's still hanging in there, and fans were yelling at us, going like, "No, it's an open and shut case. No, cape's still hanging there. He's still Superman." Warner Brothers goes, "We still enjoy a great relationship." Now we're in this business. I'm looking at this going, negotiations are still happening, and I believe that Henry Cavill's reps told this to THR in order to show Warner Brothers, get your shit together. They love him. That's what I feel.
I agree with you.
Yep. Thank you.
100%. I think it's a negotiating tactic.
It's a negotiation
I think
tactic.
they're signing whatever deal for Man of Steel 2 or whatever it
or
is.
Shazam.
And
Because they said it was Shazam.
And I've said this in several places. And a lot of people don't know this story, and I only know this because I read Bryan Cranston's biography, which is a great read, by the way.
Ooh,
Bryan Cranston's a very smart guy.
Yeah.
I think it's called like A Life in Parts.
Ooh, I want to read
Which
it.
is really good. So he tells the story that when he was auditioning for Breaking Bad, because Vince Gilligan wrote the part for him.
Yeah.
Vince Gilligan was like, Bryan Cranston's my number one choice. That's who I want to play the part. AMC said...
Favorite show of all time, by
it's
the way.
great.
I love
it's such
Breaking
a great
Bad.
show.
Yeah.
AMC said the dad from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah.
And they made Bryan Cranston audition with 5 other guys. And so he went in, and if you know anything about network auditions, you're in front of a whole auditorium of executives.
Yeah.
And they tick marks and all this crap. Bryan Cranston walked away from that, and he said, like, man, I don't know if they're going to give it to me, but I really want this part.
Yeah.
He called up his agents because he had been offered the lead in a Fox sitcom like 2 weeks before, and he had 7 more days to tell them yes or no because they really wanted him.
Okay.
He told his reps, hey, why don't you leak it to the Hollywood Reporter that I've been cast in the lead or offered the lead of this other part? His reps leaked it to the Hollywood Reporter, same newspaper as Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
The very next day, AMC called him and said, you got the part as Walter White.
There it is.
I think it's exactly what this is.
I think that's, yes. And I think that Henry Cavill was then enjoying the hell out of himself on that Instagram post, wearing a Krypton gym shirt.
Yeah.
And going, that was interesting. Hashtag Superman.
You didn't hear much about the internet being like, oh, good for good riddance. Most of the internet was like, oh, that's terrible news.
Oh, the internet lost their mind.
Yeah.
They were upset that he wasn't there. People wanted him. And so it gets me thinking, negotiations, great. But in that report, I want to get your take on this, is they wanted to focus on Supergirl. And that no Superman movies are planned. And that's where I lost my own mind, where I'm like, you motherfuckers, what, Superman, he's great. Man of Steel 2. You can
where's
obviously
Man of
tell
Steel
I'm-
2?
Where's
Yeah.
Man of Steel 2? So,
Look, Warner Brothers, to me, hasn't proved that they can handle a Superman TV show and it's into its 4th season, so I don't want to see that Supergirl movie.
yeah.
I'm sorry. And everybody out there is like, the Supergirl TV show is... No, it's not. It has no idea what type of show it wants to be, and its main character completely acts out of character every other episode. I give it 3 episodes. I give it 3 seasons of my life, no more.
See, and it boggles my mind that even though I don't watch, I don't watch a lot of TV. I mean, let me just be honest here. I watch movies all the time, so I've missed all of the CW superhero shows.
There's some good stuff in there.
I know, and I
Black
hear there's
Lightning
some great
is
stuff.
amazing.
But I hear that. I hear
Arrow,
Arrow's great.
Arrow
I hear
has some
Flash
great
is
seasons.
great.
Flash has some great seasons.
So, but I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Supergirl already has her show. If you want to go the Supergirl route, why don't we get Man of Steel 2 then? Because we have Supergirl on TV.
Yeah.
And I get it. You want to introduce Supergirl sooner or later, and you have this shared universe. And I know it's the time. You know, you're getting everybody out there and getting them in there. But Man of Steel 2. Okay, so let's go here. because I want to talk Superman. I want to talk fun
Yeah.
and just have it.
This is gonna. What's your longest episode ever of the Reilly Roundtable?
Oh,
I tend to make podcasts long. I'm just warning you.
That's fine by me.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Is there a time limit on this? I don't know.
No, there's not a time
All right,
limit.
screw it.
You know,
All
I
right.
usually go an hour.
Sorry, Cody. Who's
Yeah, we go an
editing
hour.
this
We're 30 minutes in right now.
All right. Oh, we already? Okay.
Oh, yeah, we got
cool.
plenty of
All right,
time.
good.
So, Man of Steel 2, I'm trying to think about it. I'm like, what would we do? Knowing now that Justice League happened and our Supes is back, right? And he's the guy that we kind of figured he would be finally.
He's finally
in Justice
Superman.
League.
He's
finally
Superman all out.
He's all out Superman. Even his costume's a little brighter. And this is the problem I had with Justice League, though, getting back to I remember watching Batman v Superman, and especially when he's on the roof with Lex Luthor, learning that Martha has been taken, and he's got to make these choices, and what do we do? What do we do? And I'm like, he's basically wearing a black suit.
Yeah,
it's
pretty much.
so saturated with blackness. So then when the very first scene, and yes, Mustache Gate, I couldn't take my eyes off it.
I still think that we wouldn't have noticed it as much
Yeah.
if they hadn't have told us.
Yeah, you might be right.
I mean, I
You might
think
be
that.
right.
I really think that we would. I honestly think that we would just be like, "Why does his face look weird?" And nobody would figure it out.
And then we would just moved on.
Yeah, and we would have moved on.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you.
But there are some shots in that movie where you're just like, but there are some shots in that movie where it looks fine.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was the color that got me because, and this was a little bit of a problem of mine. I do like continuity. I do like. I don't like a 180 turn on a dime when you tell me that here's his suit, this is what he is, and then at the same time period, Justice League opens with kids filming him.
Yeah.
So it's before he dies.
And his suit is much brighter.
And his suit is bright. And it's that. And it's so, for me, it's a knee-jerk reaction of...
I can let it go.
Yeah.
I can let it go.
Yeah.
Batman gets nipples for no reason in one movie, so I'm fine. I can let anything go.
You know what? That's a good point. I'm going to let that thing go.
Yep.
All right, so we have Superman back. Now, Man of Steel 2. What have we seen in movies? For all the movies, we've had Zod twice.
Yeah, we don't need Zod anymore.
Don't need Zod again. We had Richard Pryor at one point. We don't need that. God rest his soul. Nuclear Man. We don't need that. Ooh, God, no.
No, we don't. A giant island.
Had a giant
That was his
island.
big villain in Superman Returns.
And
A
Superman
giant
Returns,
island.
or Lex Luthor.
Yeah,
So
giant island.
Yeah, giant.
I mean, his big fight in that movie is with a giant
It's a
island.
giant island. Because it's made of kryptonite and he's flying it into the atmosphere.
That's the climax of Superman Returns. Is he throws a giant island into space?
Did you like Superman Returns?
I'll tell you this. I thought Brandon Routh did a great job as Clark Kent.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of his Superman, but Superman catching the plane,
It's a great scene.
I still think is the best live action Superman action scene that has ever been done. I don't think Man of Steel, Justice League, or Batman v Superman topped it. Him catching that plane was the first time I was like, holy crap, that's Superman. And when he stops it right in the baseball field, I was like, man, I could watch that scene on repeat over and over and over again.
Which I have done.
Yeah.
I might have to agree with you on that.
Is there any sequence in Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, or Justice League that beats it? I don't think so.
It's so great. It is
and
great.
It's so Superman.
It is so Superman. Yeah, I might agree with you there. That's a great scene. Movie, it's fine.
Yeah.
I couldn't get past that. Brandon Routh looked like a kid.
Yes,
he looked like Superboy and not Superman.
And he was supposed to be older Christopher Reeve, right?
Yes,
and he's like 26 or something like that.
He looked just so young to me. When Henry Cavill comes in, I'm like, well, he looks like maybe the same age, but Henry Cavill just looked a little bit more older.
No, I think Henry Cavill was in his 30s.
Was he? Okay,
yeah.
But that was my only whatever. We never got Superman Returns 2 or whatever they're going to call it.
Lois Kate Bosworth,
not a fan of her.
Not great, but
Margot Kidder is always my Lois.
I have problems with his personal life, but Kevin Spacey was an amazing Luthor, and I wish he'd gotten a better movie.
Yeah, he was a good. And you know what? You bring up Bryan Cranston. I wonder if he was offered. I heard rumors that he was actually offered Lex Luthor.
I heard he was,
and that he turned it down. And Jesse, they did with that.
I heard from a source that he was offered the part.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
So, anyways, okay. So here's my
Man
point.
of Steel 2. Yeah.
Man of Steel 2. We've only had Lex Luthor a number of times.
Yep.
And Zod from the comic. Is Nuclear Man a character, or was he just created for part 4?
He was created for the movie,
Okay.
but they've added him to the comics now.
Ooh.
But he's a movie villain.
He's a movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then The Island movie.
Yeah. The Island. The Island, not so much. Can't really speak.
Yep.
Big brute though. Big, heavy guy.
Yeah.
So I'm saying we haven't had any really interesting villains. I know we got Doomsday. We got Doomsday.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So I'm trying to. My point is, who's the villain for Man of Steel 2? Now let's get into the meat of it.
Okay.
We want Man of Steel 2. Nobody's given us Man of Steel 2. So as a token of my appreciation to Warner Brothers, the two of us are going to give them Man of Steel 2.
Let's writer's room this right now.
We're going to writer's room this
right now.
Okay,
here we go. I love this. I love this.
We're going to do Superman 2. My fiance walks in and she's excited now because she's hearing that we're going to talk about Superman.
She's going to start seeing all the note cards we're going to put on the
note
wall.
Cards
We're going to write this. We're going to spend so much time of our life on a movie that's not going to be made. No, we're not. We're not going to do that.
Did you know little backstory here? Because I worked with Christian on Masters of the Universe over at Joel Silver, which was at Warner Brothers, and because it fell apart.
Yeah.
Superman Returns comes out, does fairly well. They start to take pitches for Superman Returns 2.
Did you pitch it?
I pitched it. I did a 30-page outline.
Wow, dude.
And I got it to them. And then they decided not to do Superman Returns 2.
Yeah. Which I think they wanted to call it Last Son of Krypton, right? Or something like that.
I don't know. Yeah.
I wanted to say
that.
it was something like
It's a good idea.
Yeah. I have always said that the sequel to Man of Steel either needs to be called Last Son or Man of Tomorrow.
Ooh, I like Last Son because then maybe you can get somewhere with make it a trilogy.
Yeah.
Man of Steel, Last Son.
Because I want to keep the Dark Knight naming conventions.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Man of Tomorrow because he fully embraces by the third movie.
Last Son just sort of sounds like the final movie in a trilogy, which is why I would be hesitant of it, you know?
You know, you might be right. This is the writer's room. Let's break this down.
Sure.
If we put Man of Tomorrow, because Man of Tomorrow, he's looking forward.
Yeah.
It's tomorrow. He's got to become that guy. He's still becoming Superman, right? Well, we got him.
It is Last Son too vague for people to get that's Last Son of Krypton.
Last Son of Krypton.
Because
you call it Last Son of Krypton.
I don't know. I think Last Son sounds better, though.
I do like Last Son. So who would your villain be? Because it brings me to my
pitch.
pitch.
Yeah, throw it out there. Who's your villain?
Brainiac.
Okay.
Brainiac was my villain, but now I'm not so sure.
Yes, let's.
I'm not too sure, but you're going to know some of the villains better than me because of your knowledge. So I'm trying to think. I mean, Zod, obviously.
Well, Brainiac is the most obvious choice.
Yes.
There is even an Easter egg to Brainiac in Man of Steel.
Oh, where is it?
On one of the terraforming platforms, there's one of them. It's very, very brief. There's 3 dots.
Ooh, yeah.
It's So it's the idea that when Zod and them went out to those other planets and grabbed all the old Kryptonian technology, the idea that they either Brainiac had been there, or I've also heard that it's a subtle hint that the reason why all these colonies were dead is because Brainiac tore through them.
Oh, see.
Now,
I love that.
The one downside to Brainiac, for me, story-wise, is how is it not just a repeat of Man of Steel as an alien invasion? How do you make it different?
Because
he's another alien from space.
Yes.
And the army would not be Kryptonians, but the army would be robots.
Right.
And you definitely need to make it different from Man of Steel and Superman 2. Like you've got to change it up. And also, we're in a world now. Man of Steel 2, Man of Tomorrow. Well, let's just call it Man of Tomorrow.
Let's call it Man of Tomorrow.
Okay, our Man of Tomorrow movie
is
not going to happen in a vacuum. It's going to exist in Marvel movies. We've seen alien invasions in Marvel movies too.
Yep.
So I don't know. Like to me, that doesn't make us unique. So I love Brainiac, but I don't know. It would make me shy away from Brainiac.
Yeah. So are you thinking more like grounded, Earth-based, like Superman? And we have to count Justice League as canon.
We are in the canon.
We're in the canon right now. So he's Superman.
Yeah, he's Superman.
Friends with Bruce Wayne. Justice League is at Wayne Manor.
Let's say the Justice League has been around for let's say we're a year after Justice
League. They've had a few meetings.
Is operating.
They're operating. We can get a Wonder Woman cameo. We can get a Bruce Wayne
name drop
cameo.
Justice League in there.
We can
if
name
want.
drop. Yep. So what would it be? What would get Superman into some conflict?
Sure,
because we need the conflict.
Well, I've always had an idea for a Superman movie for a long time, and now the idea for this might be, and I don't mind putting it out in the world because I've just loved to see this movie.
Sure.
It's a hard sell because I think it would make a brilliant trailer. So I'm going to pitch you the trailer first.
Do it,
and then I'm going to work it into the story.
Okay.
So basically the trailer is you see Superman doing a bunch of heinous acts. He destroys a boat. Maybe he saves a woman, but he destroys cars. He basically does everything that everybody complained about him in Man of Steel. He destroys buildings, reckless damage.
I love this.
And the world is like, what the hell is wrong with Superman? Then in the trailer, you see a scene where it's Superman versus Superman. And then it goes, Man of Tomorrow. Stop. Now, that would make a brilliant trailer, but I know they would never do that. If you go to the movie is a half an hour, let's say the first act and a half, of Superman just doing terrible things. Let him have him snap somebody's neck just like Man of Steel. And everybody's like, whoa, Superman hasn't done this since the alien invasion. Yeah. What is going on? He's destroying buildings. As the movie moves along, we see Superman, played, of course, by
Henry Cavill,
start scratching at his skin, scratching at his face. Something's wrong.
Ooh.
Skin starts turning a little bit white.
Bizarro.
A little bit darker.
Bizarro.
Yep. And then we see a scene where the two Supermen finally face off. And about 45 minutes in the movie, we realize that the Superman we've been following from the beginning is Bizarro, or Experiment B0, as it is in the comic books. And that way we get to do Bizarro. It's Superman fighting himself. It's Superman fighting the reputation of Man of Steel. And you can have Bizarro do all the stuff that we've seen Superman do in the Injustice video games.
Oh, my God. Done.
Is that the movie?
That's the movie. That is the movie. You got Kal, my dog, named after Superman. Kal-El got up off of the couch to literally walk over to Jason and go, hey, dude, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
But, I mean, that way you could play, like, because I've always thought, like, the idea is Bizarro's a good villain. He doesn't get enough credit. People take him silly. If you take Bizarro as scary.
I agree. Make him scary. Horror, give some horror elements. Now,
and then throw in that Injustice. You could have the scene from Injustice where Superman strangles Batman. Ben Affleck cameos.
Yes.
But we learn later that it's Bizarro.
This is so brilliant. Now, okay, I have a hole in my knowledge of Superman, and it's Bizarro.
Sure.
Where did he come from? I forget.
There's several different versions.
Yeah, I knew there was, but I couldn't remember.
Now,
because this is fucking brilliant. I want this movie. Brainiac for the third movie, then.
Oh yeah, I think
maybe.
Okay, well, so here you go.
I'm going to all of your knowledge.
I have your interesting tie. I can tie Brainiac into this movie.
All right. Well, you know what? I get back to Bizarro. This is too good.
Sure.
This is too good.
So in most versions, Brainiac is cloned by Lex Luthor.
Perfect.
Or a scientist that works for Lex Luthor. You could still have that be a part of it.
Dude, and why? And you know what? Because he used the Kryptonian chamber to basically create Doomsday with Zod, and then Superman was put back there to bring him back. You could make it work that Lex Luthor just had some stuff from Superman and he clones him and makes Bizarro. Because I want Lex Luthor in there too. We
saw Superman bleed in Batman v Superman.
Yes,
you're telling me that some agent of Luthor's didn't get a little vial there and do something? And also, since Lex saw the inside of the Kryptonian cloning chamber where he made Doomsday, you're telling me that he didn't make a backup copy on some other hard drive somewhere?
Yeah. I mean, and if we're going canon here, this is the guy that essentially created Justice League.
Yeah.
I mean, he had logos and everything.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor was ahead of the game here.
So you could have it be that he's taken everything he learned from Batman v Superman because he's out of prison now.
Yeah.
And he actually pulled it off. He cloned a perfect Superman. But we don't realize that it takes a longer for it to fall apart.
Yeah. And it would make sense as he's doing. Dude, this is so brilliant because of the parallel or the mirror of Man of Steel, where we see him
lean into it.
Yes, exactly, because they pretty much did it with Batman v Superman. It was like, oh, he destroyed everything, and so there was a through line there. But I love leaning into it.
Show us the stereotype that everybody thinks Henry Cavill Superman is Bizarro, and then show us Superman on the other side.
That's
and
perfect.
Contrast it.
And I love, and then you can get, it'd be so interesting. I picture this scene right now. Lois and Clark walking down the street of Metropolis, right? They're having their witty banter. And then something's happening, and they're like, Superman's lost his mind. And he literally flies overhead, and he's doing the Bizarro thing that you're setting up. Wouldn't that be awesome for Clark and Lois to sit there to look at each other? Lois knows who he is. And they look at each other, and they go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, right then and there, they're like, "That's another Superman right there."
Can I give you a twist in that
and
scene?
then, yeah.
Okay, have a scene in the Daily Planet.
Yep.
Lawrence Fishburne's there. Lois is there. Let's bring back Jenny Olsen because I miss her. Bring her back. Bring back Steve Lombard, Michael Kelly, who, why wasn't he in Batman v Superman? Bring him back.
Right.
Bring them all back. There is a scene where Clark is there. He's typing, and then Superman is there in the bullpen.
Perfect.
And he goes, Clark, and he's like, Superman, what do you want with me? You know, and he just grabs Clark and throws him out the window, and and as the fight happens down to the street, Bizarro burns off his clothes, and we reveal the Superman suit, and then there's two Superman crashing right in front of the Daily Planet.
I'm sold on that one.
Yeah.
And you know what I love about that? Little bit of Superman 2 Donner Lester cut kind of thing going there, where
Also,
they show up. And
now the only problem with this is that I don't think Warner Brothers. It only works in the trailers if you hide the reveal.
Yeah,
but I don't think Warner Brothers would. Warner Brothers, they revealed Doomsday. They would show it. Now, do you think it still works? Do you think people would still go see it if you knew it was Bizarro right from the beginning? Even though he's not going to become Bizarro until like 30 minutes into the movie.
I think so.
Yeah.
And that's the trouble with marketing now, and we've seen this all the time. We say it all the time. It's like you ruin movies.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I was bitching and moaning about First Man because they did something in First Man where I know he lands on the moon.
Yeah.
But they did something. I'm like, you didn't have to do that in the trailer.
Oh, I haven't seen the trailers.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I've now, since I weirdly, and I mean this with no offense or anything like that, I haven't worked on the internet for like 4 months now.
I love that.
I stopped watching trailers. So people will ask me, they'll be like, what do you think of the trailer? I was like, I don't know.
Hey, God, you're living my dream right now. Are they hiring over there, by the way?
Oh, man. My friend, you would be one of the first people.
You
would be one of the first people I would give a ring to.
I would love, I love what I do, of course, but we're writers.
Yeah. Another tie-in Brainiac.
Yes.
We want to set up this trilogy, right?
Sure.
Because Luthor's in this movie, because he's out. He has to be in this movie. Or
he's got to
be a little...
again, Justice League is canon. He is creating the Legion of Doom right now. He's got Deathstroke. Mm-hmm. He's on that yacht.
I would say that Luthor has one of the mother boxes. And Luthor plugs in something in it and activates the signal that he hinted at in Batman v Superman. But the signal, it's like it goes... or it goes ping, ping, ping is what it actually should do. Mother boxes actually go ping, ping, ping.
There it is.
Which is what Jesse Eisenberg should have said at the end of Batman v Superman, not ding, ding, ding. I was waiting for him to go ping, ping, ping. Because all these DC governors would have been like, oh my God, instant orgasm.
Why? Where's Jeff Johns? Why doesn't he step in?
Well, we could talk.
Perfect.
Let's just cut to some far off rock.
Yeah.
And let's say we see the shot, we think it's an asteroid, and we hear in the sound mix this ding, 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 ding. And then the rock, we see eyes open up. And it's Brainiac's skull ship and comes towards the signal. And that's the lead up to... Because I think if you could have an alien invasion in the first one and the third one.
Yeah, I mean...
to kind of close the loop.
It could be like that. That's fun. It could be...
Yeah, go ahead.
What if, and I don't know if it works, but if like Brainiac has been here all along? For a while now.
I could be down with that.
Yeah, and like the signal wakes him up.
Ooh, cool. Yeah. Like he crashed into something.
He crashed here on Earth. Maybe it was many years. Like if we go from Man of Steel, the rumors and the Easter egg that you were referring to, just like allegedly the Supergirl, that ship, she got here first in Man of Steel. I mean, is that what they're saying? It missed me because...
Well, I always thought that when I saw Man of Steel, because there's that scene where he goes into Russell Crowe's ship and there's an empty pod.
Yeah.
Now, to me, they don't come out and state it.
Yeah.
But when he's walking through the ship and Jor-El shows him the suits...
Yes.
The suits have the S. So that means that ship has to be a ship of the House of El because it's the family crest. So if that pod is empty and there is a woman that was in that pod, she is of the House of El. She's not his cousin.
Right.
But she would be probably like great-great-great-great-great-great-grandma?
Right.
Or great-great-great-great-great-great-aunt?
Because Supergirl is... What's her name in comics? Kara.
You could still call her Kara.
Yeah, but she's the cousin,
El.
so she's not from the House of El.
No, she is.
Oh, okay.
Because her dad is Jor-El's brother.
Oh, okay.
So he's Zor-El,
Zor-El.
So she's Laura. She's Kara Zor-El. Because when you're a female Kryptonian, you take your father's full name, which is a weird.
Okay.
I don't know, Krypton keeping the women down. I don't know why.
Yeah, I know. Come on, get with the times,
But
Kryptonians.
so her name is Kara Zor-El.
Okay.
Which is Jor-El's brother. But if you flip it and just make her, again, like she's a great aunt, it's a perfect way, again, to tie it back into Man of Steel.
Yeah,
You know?
I like that.
She doesn't have to be his cousin.
This, like, we're figuring out so much.
What else do you want to see?
In the 30 minutes that we're doing this.
What else do you want to see in this movie? So if we're going, let's write it.
Bizarro.
We're going Bizarro, and it's going to lead to, a giant Superman fight. Let's say on the moon. But
Sure.
What else is the movie? Like, what's Lois's storyline in this?
Yeah, Lois. Interesting.
Because she needs a storyline.
She
and that's
does.
why I think Man of Steel works so well, is because she does have. I love that she figures out his identity in Man of Steel.
Me
I think
too.
that's one of the best things they did.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I love that they went there because it really just now you can really get in some nitty gritty here. So basically, to answer your question, I think I want to see more Clark Kent investigating.
Yes.
And I would love to see him do that with Lois tag teaming this. Like, how do we? Like, what is this? Like, they're going to start pulling some threads.
Maybe
right?
they should follow. This is what I would do. I would introduce a piece of Inner Gang, which is a deep cut Superman criminal gang. They are a Superman gang that has technology from Apokolips, which is the planet of Darkseid. Since Justice League is canon, you could say that this is a street gang in Metropolis that maybe has been cannibalizing parademons and making super futuristic weapons.
I love that.
Now, let's just.
I could even make it work. They have some Kryptonian
There you
technology
go.
from Men of Steel.
They've been stealing technology left and right.
Perfect.
And so they are a gang to be rivaled with. Call them Inner Gang. And maybe you have Clark and Lois investigate them, and we eventually learn that Inner Gang is Luthor's secret army?
Yes.
So he doesn't appear until the very end of the movie. He gets one scene. Luthor. He gets one scene.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
He unleashes Bizarro. He has his secret army. Lois figures that out.
Yep.
And I think Clark needs to figure out where's Bizarro coming from.
Yeah. So he only appears when we finally track down the lab where Bizarro was born.
Perfect.
And then you could. Oh, and I'm going to steal this from a much better writer than me. I'm going to steal this from Paul Dini, who wrote on Superman the Animated Series. Which,
Perfect.
If you haven't watched Superman the Animated Series, you're crazy. It's one of the best Superman things ever. Have you ever watched it?
Yeah, I'm going to say that it was on.
It's the Bruce Timm one with it has the
Square
same
Jaw.
kind of Batman
Of course,
so great.
It's so great.
So in the episode of Bizarro, they do track down Bizarro to the mountain lab where Luthor built him. Right.
Perfect.
And Bizarro, this is where Bizarro has his turn at the end of the movie. He fights Superman, but when he finally sees the tube that he was born in, he realizes that he's not Superman. Now, he's been fighting Superman this entire episode because he's like, I'm Superman, you're not Superman, I know who I am. He sees the tube that he was born in, but by that point, he's caused so much damage because, again, this is reckless Henry Cavill Superman.
Yes.
He sees that Lois is about to die. And he holds up this giant beam and lets everybody escape.
This is Bizarro?
This is Bizarro. Bizarro lets everybody else escape out of this. So in the end, he is the hero. And if you do this in the movie, you steal that exact same, again, steal from better writers. Warner Bros. Owns the hero. Superman,
I love that.
Both Supermans get to be hero.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's the climax.
That's the climax of the movie.
And he turns good.
He even saves Lex Luthor.
And all of that.
Yeah.
I love that so much, and we're going to get our fight. We're going to get our reveal that
Yep.
Lex has been behind it the whole time. We're going to get the army, which I think that's a great little B plot for Lois.
Yeah, nice little, because her B plot in Batman v Superman was so ridiculous.
No, it's bad.
Magic bullets that do this thing.
Yeah. But here's where, so what's the relationship with Lois? So Lois and Clark are together. They know each other's identity. Well, she knows his identity.
Sure. And they're dating.
And they're dating.
And they didn't confirm the engagement in Justice League, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah. I think it's just they freaking didn't put it in
Sure.
because there were so many people directing that thing.
For me, I think this movie has to end with Clark asking her to marry.
Yes. That's where I was going with this.
Scene.
That's exactly where I was going with this, because what is, like, she lost him once.
Yep.
I'm seeing another Superman in front of my eyes. That means he's just as powerful as you, just like Doomsday. Don't go.
Oh yeah. She should have a little piece of PTSD the entire time.
Yes.
Don't go. You're gonna die.
Don't go. I
Yeah.
can't lose you again. And Superman is, but I'm Superman.
Yeah.
I can't let people die. And then we're smack dab with Superman, and there's the conflict. And he's thinking about her, and he's being careful, and like, does he get in a situation where Bizarro is just wrecking shit, and he helps things out, and he saves some people, but then it's like, if he goes even further, if he's going to go engage with him, does he get a little hesitant and think of Lois and go, and Bizarro gets away?
So. I think so.
And Bizarro gets away, and that's like midpoint.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think he should also directly confront a moment just like Zod, where he's like, I could snap this guy's neck, and then he decides not to.
Yes. I'm going to try to talk to this guy, or I'm going to try to save him.
He's me.
Which will
He's me.
Which will lead into that great reveal or that great redemption arc for Bizarro, where he saves the people and Lex Luthor.
Can I pitch you a last scene?
Yes, please. Okay, because
so,
I'm with you. I mean, hands down.
So
with
very early on in the movie, I think we should see a scene because I can't remember. In Batman v Superman, I think they said Clark bought the ring or something like that. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But wherever he got the ring, let's say
Martha gave it to him.
Yeah,
wherever, something like that.
Wherever he gets that original ring, something happens. Bizarro and her gang, the ring gets lost.
Yes,
very
very
early on.
Do you
want
to write the Superman movie?
Let's do it, man.
God, we should.
The last scene should be. He hands her a ring, and let's say it looks strange, like it has black and whatever, and it's weird.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, I've never seen a ring like that." And he goes, "Well, it's pieces of the World Engine that Bruce saved, and he molded it in for me, and it's pieces like that." And I thought that was the incident that brought us together, that this should be the thing that ties it together. And he goes, "Lois Lane, will you marry me?" And she goes, "Yes." And he kisses her, and then he goes, "Welcome to my planet."
I like that.
Credits.
I love this. I even like the idea of him having a ring.
Yeah.
And he's like getting ready to propose as Clark.
As Clark, of course.
And Bizarro shows up.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and he's getting ready to, he's getting ready. So
or even maybe at that point he's normal Superman, so they're like, what?
Yeah. But essentially they fight, and he loses the ring. This is an aside, and I want to say they're like over the water, and he loses
somewhere.
it there.
Oh, put it
and
in,
he has
put
to
it
go
in
back.
Niagara to kind of hint back to Superman too.
Yes,
nice little wink.
And then it's like at the very end, everything is wrapped up, and he goes, "There's one thing I have to do," and he takes off in the air. He's back at Niagara Falls, a little callback, and he's searching, and he finds the ring. He goes in, he finds the ring, goes. I don't know. It's like maybe it's a little too When Harry Met Sally romantic comedy Superman, but I love this idea, man.
I think we wrote a good Man of Steel, too.
We got Bizarro as the villain.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor revealed at the end. We have Lex Luthor's army.
Inner gang B plot.
Inner gang B plot.
So Lois has something to do.
Lois has something to do. We have a romantic plot. We have a very good conflict between Superman wanting to be Superman and do good, but Lois has a little bit of PTSD. She doesn't want to lose him again, and that affects Clark. We have Martha. How are we going to have Martha in here?
Oh, I don't know. But I was going to say I have a Perry White scene for you.
Yeah, give me the Perry White scene because I'm going to think of Martha's scene.
The Act 2 turn should be a little bit of Superman seeing the reaction, like the internet reaction, to this new Superman that they hate him.
Yes.
They hate him because the big thing the Snyderverse, I don't know why I'm calling it the Snyderverse, the DCU has done is they've tried to sell us this idea that the world really loves Superman when in most respects, he really hasn't earned it. The only thing that's earned him
and
this
that's what I didn't like with Justice League. They're like telling me that they missed Superman and they needed Superman. I'm like, the other movie you told me you hated him.
Yeah.
Don't make up your mind.
It's a little weird because the only instance in his timeline where people should love him is Man of Steel. He beat the first ever alien invasion ever.
Yeah.
Now, it makes no sense that because he beat this giant cave troll that the world suddenly loves him. No, if the world loves him, it's because...
He does look like a giant cave troll from fucking Lord of the Rings.
It is. It's dead on, man. And both Warner Brothers.
Oh, God. There it is.
It doesn't make sense. So to me, I would play the opposite of that. So whatever he's done, because Superman's been evil, they hate him. The world hates him. And I want to see a scene where Clark is in, like, say, the conference room of the Daily Planet, and he's looking at it, and he's really depressed. He's just like, God dang it. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I've been out there saving cats all day.
Right.
Nobody cares. And you just have Perry White come in and close the door, like, what are you doing, Kent?
Yeah.
It's like, they don't believe Superman, and da-da-da-da-da. And you just have Perry White sit down and go, Well, I believe in Superman, and I believe in this, and I believe he stands for, and da-da-da-da-da, So don't let people tell you what to think. You know what's right, I know what's right, da-da-da-da-da. And Kent goes, that's right, Perry. And then Perry just looks him dead in the eye and goes, so what are you going to do about it? And Kent Clark goes, what do you mean? He's like, go out there and save the world, Superman. And Clark's like, Perry, I don't know what, he tries to do,
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's like, why do you think I hired you?
I love this.
Because to me, and you just be like, go out there and show him the hero you are.
Yes. You know what? This is such a great part 2 coming off of part 1.
Because there's no way Perry doesn't know he's Superman.
No.
And
Perry's
also,
smart.
I think it makes it stronger that he knows, and he kept it secret.
Kept it secret.
Yeah, for the greater good.
And again, it's mirroring a little bit of the themes from, or the conflict theme in Man of Steel. Don't show them who you are. Yeah. Don't save the world.
No, get out there.
Stay hidden. Can you imagine what the world will be like if... That's great. Yeah. I love that. Now,
and also, by showing this scene with Perry, you reveal that Perry is the opposite of his dad a little bit. Perry's like, look, I know your secret. I'm not afraid of you. Yeah. I think you're a good thing.
Yes.
And don't worry, I can keep your secret and you can still do your thing. And look, the world will be fine.
Yeah.
Your dad, you've grown past your dad.
Yes.
I'm your new dad now.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, go out there and save the world.
Yes.
It's okay.
And I think before this, this is great. This is great because here's Martha.
Right, we're in a really good damn movie.
We're writing a damn good movie. Here's Martha.
Sure. Oh, I'm excited.
Oh, yeah. He is... Do I propose to Lois? Do I do a thing? Okay. Now, there's a theme of loss that we should play with. Meaning Lois lost Clark at one point. He comes back in Justice League. Great. We're all fine. And then the thing is, she's like, don't go. Lois is upset. She doesn't want him to go. Don't be Superman. Maybe we're replaying a little bit of the theme like Pa Kent. Maybe
Is Martha kind of feel the same way? A little bit like Lois? Like she's like, don't go either. I just lost you as well. And just
I think Martha is... So what happens is that maybe Clark is sitting at work and he's calling Martha to check in on her. And it's busy. And he's like... And he hangs up. And he calls again. And it's busy. And he goes... And he goes to Smallville. Mom goes in there, and she's like, yeah, honey. The phone. What are you doing? She's I kicked it. I don't... Clark,
technology.
I'm rebuilding the house that Zod broke down, and blah, 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 blah,
3 years later.
And he got 3 years later, whatever it may be, or she was doing something. And he was so worried. He was so worried that like something happened with Martha. And she's like, Clark, you have to understand something, that life is life. I'm not always going to be here. You're not going to be able to save me. Like, there's something there. And then he's like, and just like Lois, it's got to tie to Lois somehow. That's why I want to bring Martha in, that she's the one that is able to say, you're going to have to do what you're going to do. Lois is going to have to accept that. And everything will be fine. You're a good kid. You're Superman. You can save the world. You can save Lois. You can save me. But you're not going to be able to save everyone. And that is something that... Life sucks. That is life. That's Earth. That's this world that we have to...
You've given me an idea for a new scene with this.
Please. That's the introduction?
Yeah.
Give me some notes.
I don't know. I don't have the idea here.
Okay.
But you telling... If that scene exists, you tell me that... I have the feeling that Martha has to die in this movie now. And
sorry, I was going there.
And that maybe the person that actually deals with the death of Martha is Bizarro, not Clark. So Clark shows up and sees that Bizarro got to experience his mother's final moment somehow. And that leads them into the final battle.
I'm hitting... What you're not seeing right now, because we're recording at my home, so it's not on Collider Podcast, the YouTube channel, is me putting my head on the microphone and tapping it, going, that is brilliant.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know how we get there, but that what your scene to me sets up that conclusion of, oh man.
It's where I was going.
Yeah.
Because if we're talking
about... sorry to steal your thunder.
No. That I was... In my mind, I was kind of hinting at that.
Okay.
I was kind of like... wondering where, because if you're doing a parallel, if you're doing Lois, excuse me as I hit your microphone. If we have Lois who is like afraid to lose Clark again, and then we have Martha basically saying, that's life. Don't be afraid. We're all getting, like, there's death here. There's this is life. We're all going to lose somebody. It's like, it's just the way we come up with a great Ma Kent kind of speech.
Yeah, moment. Yeah.
You know,
in the wheat field.
In the wheat field. They're sitting there. The sun's going down. We bring back Hans Zimmer. Do-do.
Yeah, it needs to be Hans Zimmer.
Do-do.
That was one of my... By the way, I cannot believe that. Why wasn't Justice League scored by Hans Zimmer? I drove me crazy.
I don't know. Junkie XL, he's great, but
he's fine. But you needed that Man of Steel music.
They did put it in there a little bit, didn't they?
Not
I can't
really,
remember.
Not really.
Oh, it was Danny Elfman. Sorry, not Junkie XL.
No.
It was Danny Elfman because then he did some little Batman 1989 in there. He did do a little Superman.
Didn't make any sense. Didn't work.
That's beside the point.
Right.
But yeah, so you get that little scene that, yes, probably Martha's going to die. I was going there. I was thinking it.
Well, it happens in Superman 3 in the Christopher Reeve movies as well.
She does.
Remember, she's well, he goes back for the high school reunion and she's dead already.
She's dead already. Yeah, we never saw her die in those movies, did we? We just kind of assumed.
It happened in between the movies.
Yeah,
he
by
was,
the time
selling
we get
the farm.
Yeah, by the time we get to part 3, it's a bunch of nonsense anyway.
Yeah.
So.
But I think for this movie, like, we got to see it.
Yeah,
or we have to experience it.
I think it's going to be, if that scene, it's like, because we're not going to kill off Lois.
No.
But if there's a scene of death that can also mirror and bring back callbacks of Pa Kent, that you have to be okay. Basically, the theme I'm looking for is, Clark, you will not be able to save everyone. And that's going to make him think of Pa.
Yep.
And that's going to really hurt. And it's going to be something that he's going to have to deal with. Because he's having this conversation. He's going to want to marry Lois. And Lois is afraid to lose him. And then he's going to be afraid to lose her.
Ooh, I got it. I got it. Here's the pitch.
Got it.
It's a scene with real Clark and Ma. I don't know what it is. Let's say it's a river. I don't know. It's a river.
Sure. Rivers are good.
And it's a river that lots of people... We mirror the Pa Kent death from Man of Steel. So there's people around. Clark is in a civilian guise. She's there. He cannot save her without everybody around him knowing he's Superman. So he sits, he doesn't move, and she gives him the same Pa Kent, like, it's okay, but Bizarro sweeps in and saves her.
I love that. Yes.
And he gets, because of that, he gets to experience her, like, and, you know, and you can give her, like, a line of, like, you know, like, however she's injured, or maybe she was drowning, I don't know. Like, again, this is how writer's room work. You don't, you just be like, well, we know what the moment is, TBD. We'll figure out the thing that kills her later. But she, like, whatever she's like, oh, you look like my son. Or maybe she gets a little dazed that she thinks it is Clark, and so she says her final words to Bizarro.
Oh, God.
And then Clark shows up, and she's dead.
Oh,
and then also he's like, oh, he did it, not me.
Yeah. And I think that because we're going to have that scene where, like, Mom, you didn't pick up, we're going to have a nice moment with Clark and Ma.
We'll get. You have to have that moment. You have to have that moment, yeah.
I know that you love me. I know that you would do anything for me. Because he's just, from Metropolis to Kansas like that. And because the phone was off the hook.
Yeah.
So a big fear of his is that
he's going to miss it.
He's going to miss it. So that by the time we get to that moment, and I love the duality of the fact that Bizarro is there. Can we make this movie right now? That is the movie I want to see.
And again, it's also the idea where, like, I don't mind putting this out on a podcast because, like, I'm like, please take it,
share this.
I would gladly watch this movie.
Here's the thing, and we are going to wrap this up because now this might be we're hour and 15, man. I love this.
Hour 15,
and
I didn't even be an hour.
I didn't even start the stopwatch until after I went. Oh yeah, I got to start it.
Do you get in trouble if the episodes are longer?
No, I can do whatever I want with this thing. This is what I love. I want people to send this.
Yeah, please do.
To Warner Brothers.
Please do.
And we can pitch this thing.
We got enough bona fides, right?
Yes.
We can pitch it. Right?
We can pitch it. I mean, I'm going to start.
This would be a dream project for me, by the way.
This would be my
writing
dream.
This with you. This would be a dream.
This would be my dream project as well. And I do believe that Warner Brothers also owns another property that I like, and that's Gremlins.
Oh, yes.
Because,
I know where it's going.
I have a Gremlins prequel idea. So I have a lot of ideas, Warner Brothers. I know Amblin.
You told me this idea before. It's great.
Have I told you?
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, I did. One of the Patreon things was I had a Google Hangout, and I had about 20 people, and I pitched them my Gremlins prequel, and they loved it.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
I felt so good. It was really good, so that was fun. So anyone interested, yep, there it is. I put it up on the Patreon page. But Warner Brothers, I hope you're listening. This is a great movie.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
And it would knock you in the gut.
Yes.
As well as solve every problem that anybody had with Man of Steel.
Yes. And it would get those naysayers. I'm looking at you, Warner Brothers, that a lot of people, I've heard this. How do you write for the Big Blue Boy Scout? And I'm telling you, you know how to do it.
Well, it's obvious. Like I always say this to people, like it's funny, and I'm going to tell you a real quick story.
Yeah.
When I first got together with my current wife, Ashley Victoria Robinson, about 6 years ago, she hated Superman. Hated him.
Really?
She was like, I don't get him.
Because he's boring and
he's boring.
Yeah.
How can you write for him?
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. She's very much a Bat family character. She likes
Batman and
Robin. She likes
and
human superheroes.
Got it. That makes sense.
And so I started giving her comic books, and I gave her All-Star Superman.
Oh, All-Star is so good.
And
Grant Morrison. Oh, boy.
And I gave her Superman for All Seasons.
Oh, another great one.
I gave her, at the time, Greg Pak was writing a great run with Aaron Cooter drawing in the New 52.
Okay.
It's a great run.
Yeah.
And a lot of it deals with Lana being an electrical engineer and dealing with Clark, whatever. Anyways, and I said to her, I was like, because she said the same thing. She was like, I don't like Superman because he's all powerful. You can't stop him. And I said, no, that means you don't understand Superman. Superman, you don't punch him in the face. You punch him in the heart.
I was going to say.
It's the heart.
It's the heart.
Yeah. He's invulnerable.
You hit him where
you hit
it
him in the
hurts.
heart.
Yeah, it's
hit
the
him in
heart.
The heart.
The people he cares about.
Yeah.
The people he loves. That's where you get Superman. That's why I love the idea of Bizarro.
Yeah.
Because that's hitting him in the heart.
Well, because it's him. It's
him.
He's looking at an evil version of him.
God,
and
it's so perfect.
And he has to contemplate with that while at the same time being like, am I anything like that?
Right. And Henry Cavill
pull it off.
Can pull it off.
Yep.
And it gives him, he's doing
double Cavill.
2 roles.
It's double Cavill, yeah.
He's like, and I get to flex my acting muscle? Sign me up.
Yep.
Dude, Warner Brothers, what are you doing?
And also, I'm going to give you another sweetener to this deal because a lot of people, the coolest thing about Bizarro is the backwards S, right?
Yeah.
Again, talk about steal from the best, right?
Sure.
The Project B0, that's from Jeff Johns. That's one of the great things he did. And in the storyline called Forever Evil, you met this really cool version of Bizarro who wore a T-shirt. And he was a clone by Lex Luthor. And when he activated him, he grabbed like a Superman T-shirt and he put it on, but he put it on inside out, so it had a backwards S.
That's perfect.
So whenever the Superman damages his costume, he should grab one of those Superman shirts that we saw in Suicide Squad on the street, and he puts it on backwards, so it has a backwards S.
I love that. That is perfect.
So steal from the best.
Steal from the best. Put it on screen. That's our Man of Steel 2 pitch.
Man of Tomorrow.
Man of Tomorrow. That is the second.
It really works with it.
It really works.
Yeah.
And then Last Son of Krypton. He's going to do it. The 3rd movie. We'll get to that in another episode.
Please have me back. Let's pitch. If
I'm going to do
love
it.
This, let's pitch Last Son too.
I'm going to go out on a limb right now, and I'm going to say that people are going to love this, and that this is absolutely one of my favorite Reilly Roundtables of all time.
Oh, thank you, man. This is a lot of fun.
Absolutely, because this story. I'm not kidding you. I fucking love this thing.
I want to see it.
I'm jumping out of my
I don't even care if I write it or not.
Now.
I want to see it.
I want to see it too, man. Oh God, Jason, thank you so much for joining me on this show. Yeah,
thank you for having me.
I do want to give you a little bit of time. You are working on science,
yes,
and not the term science. You are working on a graphic novel or a comic series.
It's a graphic novel.
It is a graphic novel. That's what I thought.
Yep.
Your GoFundMe, I shared it. We got
Kickstarter.
it. Kickstarter.
Close
See,
enough.
I'm all over the place. I saw a GoFundMe today for a friend of ours. But yeah, so Kickstarter, you hit it. Did you hit it? What's going on with science? Tell me all about it.
So Science is an 80-page graphic novel that I'm co-writing with my wife, Ashley Victoria Robinson. It's an idea that we have. You have to say it's science. And it's basically about...
Blinded with science.
Yeah. Well, when we came up with the idea, we didn't know what else to call it, and I literally just started joking and be like, let's just call it Science.
I think it's a great title.
Because it is what the book is about. So It's about a 14-year-old girl named Tamsin who goes to the Prometheus Institute, which is the most advanced science school in the world.
Okay.
But she's not there to study. She's there to destroy it from the inside. So imagine Harry Potter wants to kill Dumbledore when he goes to Hogwarts.
Ooh.
And the reason why she wants to do this is she has a futuristic pair of glasses that her father, a holographic version of her father who's been dead since she was a baby, is telling her that the headmaster of the school murdered him. And she needs to avenge him. So
This is cool, man.
So she goes to the school. She likes the school. She likes the headmaster.
Oh, no.
Can she trust her holographic dad who she's never met? Or can she trust the new headmaster? Well, at the end of the day, the only thing that she can trust is science.
That's fucking cool, man.
There you go. And that's what it's about. And we put it up on Kickstarter. It's at sciencecomicbook.com. If you go to that URL, or if you don't like URLs, you can just go directly to Kickstarter and search science.
Yeah, and it's on my Twitter feed as well. I shared it. You can check it out.
And I appreciate that. It funded in 24 hours, which is great.
Oh, my God. That's fantastic.
And the coolest thing is now, if you go over there and you purchase the book, you know you're going to get it. It's a pre-order for it. It's an 80-page graphic novel. But we did a lot of writer things in this, so I want to pitch out. We like to help other writers.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of stuff. We had a lot of script reviews from other writers where you could purchase this award or this reward. You'd get the book. You'd also get a script review from a writer. We had Tom King from Batman. That was already sold out. Cullen Bunn, who wrote X-Men. That was sold out. Shay Fontana, who wrote DC Superhero Girls. That sold out. Right now, and this, again, they might be gone if you're listening to this in the future. Sorry, future people.
Yeah.
Mark Andraco has a script review that's still available for us. He will read any script you have, 20 pages, any script you'll do, and then I just put on mine. I am going to do a bunch of script reviews as well.
That's fantastic.
If you enjoy this pitch, you enjoyed anything that I said about Man of Steel or Man of Tomorrow, go over there. Get yourself. You will get a copy of Science. Plus, I will review a script of yours. It could be a TV, film, comic book, and get you some notes on it.
I love that. You please go check this out because, as I just realized, I'm going to have to write Man of Tomorrow with Jason Inman.
I'm in.
B, you are a brilliant writer and a good friend. And C, this is awesome. Thank you. Please go check that out. Everybody listening at home. Again, it's on Kickstarter. Check Science. Check Jason Inman at
Jawin, Jawin.
At Jawin, you can find him there. And as always, you can find me at Reilly Around on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you, my friend, again.
Thank you for having me. This is probably one of the best podcasts I've ever been on.
This is my favorite. That was like the shit. Like, you have no idea how excited I am for like that. And I'm serious. I want to write this thing. I might have to talk to you off air.
We might have to. We have a Patreon exclusive thing.
Yeah, maybe, man. Yeah, we'll figure something out because I do have some context over there. But again, if THR is to be believed, they care about Supergirl and not Man of Tomorrow, or a.k.a. Man of Steel 2. Yeah, we got to prove them wrong. So if everybody enjoyed this, please.
Man of Steel, yes.
Yes, Man of Steel, yes. Hashtag Man of Tomorrow. Hashtag Inman and Reilly need to write this. I want to thank you again, my friend, for coming on the Reilly Roundtable.
Best podcast ever.
Oh, this was so much fun. And thank you, everyone out there listening on the One-on-One with Christian Harloff Podcast One feed. Thank you. Every Thursday, the Reilly Roundtable drops. Find me at Reilly Around on Twitter and Instagram. And if you so desire for more, maybe I'll get you for a Patreon thing. We can do this.
I'd love to.
Yeah, I did the pitch of my Gremlins prequel called Mogwai. That's the title. Patreon.com/the Reilly Roundtable. If you're so desiring and want some more content with me, friends that show up all the time on that thing, give it a look. But thank you again, everyone, for tuning in. Like and share this. Send it out everywhere. I want more people getting involved on the Reilly Roundtable. So for Jason and for Reilly here, I'll see you next Thursday where a new Reilly Roundtable drops. See you then.